Now we are solving maths questions from IMAT past paper 2023, and our very first question is of mathematics. That's consider the function defined for every x greater than 1 where ln indicates the natural logarithm, and we are provided with the function. Which of these is an expression for its inverse function? So basically we are here supposed to find the inverse function. For finding the inverse function, we must be known about the method of finding the inverse function. Suppose I'm imagining one function that's given by x plus 1. Okay, I'm supposed to find inverse of this function. So how I'm gonna do that? Let's substitute this f of x by y. Okay, so y equals x plus 1. I'm basically finding here the value of x, right? So for finding here the value of x, you need to make this x alone in the entire equation, right? So x is equal to y minus 1. This is how you can make your x alone, right? 1 is plus here. When it will go there, it will be negative. So y minus 1. So y minus 1 is basically inverse of this x plus 1. So I hope you have now understood how to find the inverse of any function. You just have to suppose or substitute f of x by y, and then you have to find the value of x that would be inverse of the function. Now let me remove it and explain you the actual question that we are given with. So our actual question is this, right? We have our function basically, which is what? Which is f of x is equal to 2. This is not I and this is ln. ln x minus 2 ln its function x minus 1. Here ln is nothing but ln is basically logarithm base e, and you know that this e in maths is natural number. This e in maths is natural number. So where ln indicates the natural logarithm means logarithm that has base natural number, which means e. So ln does not mean anything else, but it means logarithm base e, which is natural logarithm. Okay, so now we are supposed to find the inverse of it, which means substituting f of x by y. So y equals to, now instead I write log base e instead of ln, would be same of course, right? Minus 2 again log base e function x minus 1. So what is common here in both terms is basically 2. So 2 is my common term now. What we are left with is log base e function x minus log base e function x minus 1. Now you must be known about the property of logarithm, and that basically says if you have two logs, okay, and that's basically log m minus log n, it can also be written as 1 log m upon n. This is the property. You must be familiar with another property as well. Log m plus log n is equal to log m multiplied by n. Okay, if there is negative sign between these two functions, you just have to divide these two functions. So we have negative sign between these two functions, we'll have to divide these two functions. So y equals 2 logarithm base e functions x divided by x minus 1. So two functions are basically now be divided because we were having negative sign. Okay, now what we are supposed to do, we have to just simplify it right now. Okay, so 2 is multiplying with this entire log term. When it will go there, it will be divided, of course. So y by 2 equals log base e x upon x minus 1. And in the last maths video, I told you the basic concept of logarithm as well, that for instance if we have log base a and you have its function b equals c, how it can be written as in the expression form would be, this base would now become actual base and its exponent would be c is equal to, this function would now be written on the right hand side of the equation, which means alone. Okay, so basically this base now would be written as the base actual. Okay, this c means the alone term now would be exponent of it, so y upon 2, and function would stay alone in the equation, so x upon x minus 1. Basically, for finding the inverse of the function, you are supposed to separate this x term, right? You have to find the value of this x term. So how you're gonna do that is, now x minus 1 is here dividing, when it will go there it will be multiplied by x minus 1 equals x. So this would be multiplied by both now, so ey by 2x minus ey by 2 into 1 is ey by 2 is equal to x. Here if I take the common, what it would be basically, so it would basically be, now I multiplied with this, okay, and we have gotten now e power y by 2 x minus ey by 2 basically multiplied by minus 1 would then be only e power y minus 1. Okay, so now this x is positive here, when it will come there on the left hand side it will be negative x, and this is negative term here, when it will go on the right hand side it will be positive. Now basically we have to find the value of x, right? So here I have to take x common because we have x here in the both terms. So x is common. What's left in the first term is e by 2. Okay, then x is being taken common. So here now we are only left with 1 is equal to e power y by 2. You have to find this x. Okay, so of course you have to make this alone. So e power y by 2, this whole term is multiplying with x, and when it will go there it will be divided. So ey by 2 minus 1. Basically this is the inverse function we have found. So if we see our options now, wait for a moment. Ey by 2 upon ey by 2 minus 1, ey by 2, ey by 2. Okay, the next three options are different. Okay, their inverses are different, but in the first two options the inverses are same, that we have gotten our inverse of. Okay, now basically comes the two factors, whether our y would be greater than 0 or whether our y would be greater than 1. Now we have to find that. Okay, if you read the question again, we are supposed to put x greater than 1. Okay, we are supposed to put x greater than 1. We are supposed to put x greater than 1, and initially we had the function f of x 2 ln x minus 2 ln x minus 1. Okay, so now we have to put x basically that's greater than 1. So let's try at x equals 2, because we have to give input to it that is greater than 1. Okay, so let's substitute 2 instead of x. So 2 ln, instead of x we are putting 2 minus 2 ln 2 minus 1 would be basically 1. Now know this property of ln, when ln has a function of 1, it would definitely be equal to 0. So this whole term equals 0. Okay, now we are left with ln power 2 only. Ln 2 equals basically 0.69, and when 0.69, 2 9s are 18, 1 2 6 are 12, 13, so 3.1. Okay, so basically when we put 2 instead of x, which is of course greater than 1, we got 1.28. Okay, now if I put x equals 10, because whatever I have to give the value to x must be greater than 1. So now let's substitute the value of 10 here. So 2 ln instead of x 10 minus 2 ln 10 minus 1 basically 9, 2 ln 10 basically equals 2.30. Okay, minus 2 ln 9 basically equals 2.20. When multiplied, 2 0 and 2 3s are 6, 0.22s are 4, minus 2 0, 2 2s are 4, 0.22s are 4, and when subtracted we get 0.20. So 0.20, the answer is not greater than 1. However, it is now 0.20. From here I can draw the conclusion that my answer would be not greater than 1. If it would have been greater than 1, my answer could not come out to be 0.20. My answer can be greater than 0. This is the reason my answer came out to be 0.20. Okay. So what is my answer basically? When I put my x greater than 1, for instance, we here applied x as 2 and x as 10, we basically got the value of 0.20, okay, which is of course greater than 0. Our answer is greater than 0, not greater than 1, because we know that 0.20 cannot be greater than 1, but 0.20 can be greater than 0. So our y must be greater than 0, okay, not greater than 1. I hope the first question is very clear. Today's video will gonna be a bit long because questions are lengthy today. Now let's solve our second question, which is basically find the set of real solutions of this inequality. Basically we are given with an inequality that's basically 2x square minus 6x plus 5 greater than 0. So what does it mean? Whatever I put the value of x, this expression must be greater than 0. The answer, the solution of the system must be greater than 0. Okay, so let's try at x equals 2 first. Okay, so 2 power 2 is 4, minus 6 instead of x2 plus 5, and this entire expression must be greater than 0. 2 4s are 8, minus 6 2s are 12, plus 5 greater than must be 0. 8 minus 12 is minus 4, plus 5 must be greater than 0, and 5 minus 4 is 1, and 1 is greater than 0. So yes, this is the correct one. Now if we put x negative, okay, let's give x the value of now negative term. So let's suppose minus 3. So 2, or we should suppose it minus 10. Okay, so 2, okay, x square, so minus 10 square minus 6x, x is minus 10 plus 5, and this entire equation must be greater than 0. Okay, so 2 minus 10 square is 100, minus 10 into minus 10, minus minus plus 10 into 10 is 100, minus minus plus 6 tens are 60, plus 5 greater than must be 0. 2 into 100 is 200, plus 60 plus 5 must be greater than 0. 200 plus 60 plus 65, 265, and it is of course greater than 0, which means by putting positive values we got a term greater than 0. Okay, And by substituting the negative value as well, for instance minus 10, we got 365, which is again greater than 0. So whatever value we are giving to our x, the answer is coming out to be greater than 0, which means all the values, either positive and negative, satisfied this equation, this inequality, which means all the real number, because real number is the combination of all the positive number, all the negative number, right? So whatever I'm giving the value to my x, the answer is coming out to be greater than 0. So which means the solution to this entire inequality would be real number. Now let's solve our 50th question, which is again very important question for us. I am going to do this now here. Okay. My 50th question. The ratio of sugar to flour in a mixture is 1.5. So ratio of sugar to flour. Ratio of sugar to flour is 1:5. So basically, if I have to know my actual number, okay, that would be multiplied by x into multiplied by x, right? Because if I simplify it again, x divided by x, okay, and it is again 1:5. So I can suppose that my actual number is x here, right? And that's 5x. Okay. Now what they have asked us, after 1 kg of sugar and 2 kg of flour are added to mixture, the ratio has changed to 2:5. Initial ratio was this, means original ratio was this, and now they said 1 kg of sugar and 2 kgs of flours are added. So basically 1x, they said 1 kg of sugar is added plus 1, okay, ratio, and we know that this ratio can be written as this as well, 1/5x. Ratio means in the division form, right? So this can be written like this as well. Ratio, and 2 kgs of flours is added, so plus 2, and this can of course be written as 1x plus 1 upon 5x plus 2. And now the ratio, new ratio has become 2:5. So this has become now 2:5. Now if I have to find my original x value, so by cross multiplying it, 5 into 1x is 5x plus 5 into 1 is 5 is equal to 2 into 5 is 10x plus 2 into 2 is 4. I have to find my x value. So 10x minus 5x, 5 minus 4, 1 is equal to 5x. I have to just find x. So that's equal 1/5. So my original, now see, I have got my x value, which means when my original ratio was given, which was x ratio 5x, so instead of x 1/5, this was the sugar kg, right, ratio, and instead of x, this again I have to put 1/5. This 5 cancelled with 5, so now we are left with 1 only. So 1 kg of flour we had initially. Okay, now see 1.5 and 1 kg. So they said 1 kg of sugar is added, which means 1/5 kg plus 1 kg. Okay, ratio, we had initially 1 kg of flour, and then they said 2 kgs of flour is added. Now let's see, 1/5 plus 1, here we don't have anything, which means 1 multiplied by 5. If denominator multiplied by 5, then numerator must be multiplied with 5. In the denominator we got 5. 1 plus 1/5 is 5, ratio 3. 1 plus 5 is 6/5, ratio 3. Okay, they said that a further 1 kg of sugar, a further 1 kg of sugar and 2 kg of flour are added. We have to now find the new ratio of the sugar to flour. 1 kg of sugar is again added, which means 6 by 5 plus 1 ratio. Again 2 kgs of flour is added, so plus 2. Now see, again if we don't have anything in the denominator, which means we have 1, multiplied by 5, multiplied by 5. In the denominator we are left with 5. 6 plus 1, 1 into 5 is 5. Now see, ratio 3 plus 2 is 5. Now 6 plus 5 is 11 by 5. Ratio means in the division form, right? I can write it like this as well. Now see, 11 by 5 divided by 5. If I have to change this divided sign into multiplication, 11 by 5 multiplied by reciprocal of 5 is 1 by 5. Numerator multiplied by numerator, denominator multiplied by denominator. So 11 into 1 is 11. 5 multiplied by 5 is 25. Now 11 by 25 I can write like this as well, 11 ratio 25. So now I've got my new ratio, which is 11 ratio 25. 11 ratio 25, and which is exactly our first option, 11 ratio 25. I hope this question was simple, not difficult at all. Let's move towards 51st question. Two standard 6-sided dice numbered 1 to 6 are rolled. Okay, so 2 dices are rolled. Okay, not 1 but 2. If I talk about, okay, initially read the question. What is the probability that the product of the two numbers obtained is the square of a prime number? Okay, so basically they are here asking to find the probability. Okay, so they have asked us to find the probability not of the one die but of 2 dice. Okay, so when you have to find 2 dice probability, for instance, if you have 1 die that has total, I initially told you the formula for finding the probability, number of desired event upon total number of event. This was the formula for finding the probability. Okay, we already know this. For the 1 die we had total number of income 6. Either 1 can come, either 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 can come. So total number of event in 1 die we had 6. How many total number of events we'll have when we have 2 dice? For finding this, you have to just make this table. You have to make this table. I'm sorry for it. Finally. Here we have 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. Wait for a moment. 6, and here we got 6. Okay, because you have 2 dice, so 6 outcomes, right? So what outcomes can come? Now basically if you have 2 dice, so your outcomes will come in pairs, right? Either 1 can come in first die and 2 can come in second die. Either 5 can come in first die and 6 can come in second die. So now your outcomes will come in pair. So your first pair can be 1 by 1, which means 1 can come on the first die and on the second die again 1 can come. Okay, your second outcome can be 1 by 2, which means 1 on the first die, 2 on the second die. Your outcome can be 1 by 3, 1 on the first die, 3 on the second. 1 by 4 can be your outcome, 1 by 5 can be your outcome, 1 by 6 can be your outcome as well. Okay, then 2 can come on your first die and 1 can come on your second die. 2 can come on your first die, 2 can come on your second die as well. 2 by 3, then 2 by 4 can come as well. 2 and 5 can come as well, and 2 and 6 can come in the pair as well. Now 3 can come along with 1, 3 on the first die, 2 on the second die, 3 on the first die, 3 on the second die, 3 on the first die, 4 on the second die, and 3 can come with 5, 3 can come with 6 as well. 4 can come on first and 1 can come on second, 4 on first, 2 on second, 4 on first, 3 on second, 4 on first, 4 on second. 4 can come with 5 as well, and 4 can come along with 6 as well. 5 on first, 1 on second, 5 on first, 2 on second, 5 on first, 3 on second, 5 on first, 5 on second, sorry 4, 5 on first, 5 on second, 5 on first, 6 on second, 6 on first, 1 on second, 6 on first, 2 on second, 6 with 3, 6 with 4, 6 with 5, 6 with 6 as well. Now if I see my total number of outcomes, if I count, this pair can come 1 pair, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So your total number of outcomes can be 36 in the 2 dice. Okay, your formula for finding the probability is desired number of events per unit total number of events. So your total number of events for 2 dice has already come out 36. Now you have to read the question again in order to find what they have asked us about our desired event. What is the probability that the product of two numbers obtained is the square of a prime number? Which is again very simple question. Now basically they have asked us the product of the two numbers that come out by multiplying the pairs, that is the square of a prime number. Okay, so for finding that, initially you have to find the product of each number, so each pair basically. So 1 into 1 is 1, 1 into 2 is 2, and 1 into 3 is 3, 1 into 4 is 4, 1 by 5, 5, 1 into 6, 6, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 4, 2, 3, 6, 2, 4, 8, 2, 5, 10, 2, 6, 12, 3, 1, 3, 2, 6, 3, 3, 9, 3, 4, 12, 3, 5, 15, 3, 6, 18, 4, 1, 4, 4, 2, 8, 4, 3, 12, 4, 4, 16, 4, 5, 20, 4, 6, 24, 5, 1, 5, 6, 1, 6, 5, 2, 10, 6, 2, 12, 5, 3, 15, 6, 3, 18, 5, 4, 20, 6, 4, 24, 5, 5, 25, 6, 5, 30, 5, 6, 30, and 6, 6, 36. Okay, now basically we need to see what are the perfect squares here. What are the perfect squares here? Let's circle those numbers. Okay, so 4 is the perfect square of 2, and 4 is again the perfect square of 2. 8 is not square, 10 not, 12 not, 3 not, 6 not. 9 is the perfect square of 3, not 12, not 15, not 18. Again 4 is the perfect square of 2, not 12. 16, 16 is the perfect square of 4. 20, 24, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 is the perfect square of 5. 36, 12, 18, 24, 30, and 36 is the perfect square of 6. We need to find the perfect squares that are basically the squares of a prime number. Okay, so 4 is the square of basically 2, and 2 is the prime number, right? So let's circle now those numbers which are basically the squares of a prime number only. So 4 is the perfect square of 2 and 2 is the prime number. 4 is the perfect square of 2. 2 is the prime number. 4 is the perfect square of 2. 2 is the prime number. 9 is the perfect square of 3 and 3 is again a prime number. Yes. 16 is the perfect square of 4. Okay, 4 4s are 16. But 4 is not a prime number. Not at all. And 25 is the square of 5 and 5 is a prime number. 36 is the square of 6 but 6 is not a prime number. So how many numbers, how many desired number of events that we get possible, that are basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So number of desired events now we have is basically 5. So our probability of having those numbers that are basically the product, their product is the perfect square of a prime number is 5 by 36. 5 by 36. Now let's see if we have gotten our this answer 5 by 36. And yes, this is our first option, 5 by 36. Yes, we have gotten our answer. Now let's move towards the fourth question, which is how many solutions are there in the range to the equation sign. Okay. This is not again very difficult question at all. We will try to solve it very finely. Now see, you have power 4 here, right? So for removing this power, for instance, if you have x square here and you have 16 here, okay, you have to remove this square from here. You will take a square root on both sides, right? Square root on both sides, plus minus 16 square root. So this square is cancelled with this under root, x equals plus minus 4 4 is a 16, right? So for removing this, wait for a moment. For removing this power 4, we can take out the fourth root on both sides. Okay, we can take fourth root on both sides. So while taking fourth root on both sides, this my power 4 would be removed. Okay, and function would now be 90 and 10. Taking the fourth root of it, let's see, 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, so 2 power 4 is 16, right? So 1 by 2 and of course plus minus. If I take again fourth power of 1 by 2, my answer would again be 1 by 16. So I can enclose then 1 by 16 like this, plus minus 1 by 2. Okay, it's very simple again. Wait for a moment. Let me now remove this a bit. Okay, now basically we have to know those degrees at what we get our answer, half, positive half or negative half. So my theta, when I have sine theta equals 30 degree, at 30 degree I have positive half, right? At 150 degree I have again positive half. At 210 degree I have negative half, and at 330 degree I have negative half as well. So these 4 degree, at these 4 degrees I would get my either positive half or negative half. At sine 30 and sine 150 I would get my positive 1 upon 2, and at 210 and 330 I would get my negative 1 upon 2. Now let's see, my range is given this. So let's take this factor x plus 90 upon 10. Okay, let's substitute on the x value as, wait for a moment, let's substitute 0 basically instead of x then. So 0 plus 90 is 90 upon 10 and our answer is 9. So at 0 my answer came out to be 9. Okay, that is less than and equal to x, and my x is less than and equal to, at 360 I have to find now. So 360 plus 90 upon 10, what will I get? 450 upon 10. 0 cancel with 0, 45. So 45. Whatever my the theta would be basically in between 9 and 45, which only left us with a number which is 30. 30 is only the number which comes in between 9 and 45. Okay, because my x would be that degree which is greater than or equal to 9 and less than and equal to 45 degree, which is only 30. So my possible solution is only one. I hope this is clear, not difficult at all. Now let me remove this a bit so that we can go towards another question of ours. So 53rd question now. 53rd question is very basic. It's not rocket science at all. Basically, what is the complete set of values of x for which 100 minus, okay, we are basically given with two inequalities and we have to find the complete set of solutions, complete set of values. For solving this, basically if I get my 97x on the left hand side, so minus 99x positive 97x greater than and equal to my 100 on the right hand side, so 98 minus 100. Okay, so minus 99x plus 97x is 2x, basically of negative, right? Negative. Okay, less than and equal to 98 minus 100 is minus 2. So my x, now see, if you are taking this negative 2 which is multiplying with x, when it will go there it will be divided, of course, but because of this negative thing you will have to convert your sign. Now it's not less than equal to, but now it is greater than and equal to. Okay, so minus negative 2 divided by negative 2, negative cancel, my x is greater than and equal to 1 basically. So I've got my one solution for now. Let's go and solve this another inequality. And this inequality is basically, now we have 96 plus 95x is greater than 94x, not 94x but 94 plus 93x. Okay, now we have to find, basically if I take my this 93x on the left hand side, so 95x minus 93x greater than 94, 96 on the right hand side. Okay, so 95 minus 93 is 2x greater than 94 minus 96, basically negative 2. So x is greater than negative 2 by 2, x is greater than minus 1. So if combining these two equations, my x is greater than only negative 1, no, my x must be greater than or equal to 1 as well. So my x is greater than 1 only, no, it can also be equal to 1, it can be 0 as well. Okay, so my only option that we are left by combining these two equations is basically x is greater than and equal to 1, which is our first option. I hope this was simple, not difficult at all for you guys at least. Now let's go and solve our second last question for today, which is again not difficult at all. Okay, so basically, okay, I have seen the equation and now I'm going to write this equation here so that I can solve it in a fine way, right? Equation of the circle is given, which is x square, okay, minus 10x plus y square and then plus 12y plus 57 equals 0. This equation of circle we are given with and they are asking us to find the minimum distance of this circle, which they have given the equation of from the coordinate axis. So basically for finding that, we have to find the center of the circle first. Okay, for finding the center of the circle, we must arrange this equation in the basic form, and you must have come across two basic forms. Initial is x minus h whole square plus y minus k whole square is equal to r square. But for now, we are not going to use this form of equation, but we are going to use the general equation form of a circle, which is x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equals 0. So this is the general equation of a circle. General equation of a circle. Okay. So if I write this in a proper way again, so x square, now I have to make my y square, now minus 10x plus 12x 12y plus 57 equals 0. By comparing it, see, my center would be minus g comma minus f here. So I have to find my center basically here for now. Okay, so for finding the value of g, I have to compare it basically, right? 2gx equals minus 10x. This x cancel with this x. G equals minus 10 by 2, and this g equals minus 5. Okay, we have gotten the value of g. For finding the value of f, comparing these two now. So 2fy equals 12y, y cancelled with y, f equals 12 by 2, which is 6. So I have gotten my f as well. But my center is negative g comma negative f. So this g is negative f, negative 5, and if I take negative of negative 5, negative of negative 5, and basically f is 6, I have to take it negative 6, right? So this is my center. So negative into negative is positive 5, comma negative 6. This I have gotten my center of the circle. Okay, this I have gotten my center of the circle, which is again very simple. Now let's make the illustration of the circle so that we can have a basic concept of it and can have the minimum distance from its coordinate axis. See, this represents my x coordinate of the circle of the center, and this my y. So my y is negative 6. For suppose my negative 6 is here and my 5 is on here. I have to make my circle that has center of 5 comma minus 6. Okay, 5 comma minus 6. 5 comma minus 6. So here basically I've gotten my center of the circle, which is 5 comma negative 6. 5 x-axis, negative 6 y-axis. So basically if I find the radius of the circle now, I want to have this distance. Okay, so if I have to have this distance, this is basically the radius of the circle. And for finding the radius of the circle from the general equation, you have the formula fx square g square plus f g square or f square plus g, it's fine, g square plus f square minus c. This is the formula for finding the radius when you are given with the general equation of a circle. So r is equal to g value we already got, which was negative 5 whole square plus f value we got 6 whole square and minus c value, constant term we have 57. So minus 57 all under root. Under root 5 5s are 25 plus 6 6 are 36 minus 57. So basically 25 minus 36 is 61. 61 minus 57 is 4, and under root 4 equals 2. So basically my radius is what? It is 2. And my center of the circle, this entire distance is 5. And I found my this distance Now I have to have my this distance. So this entire distance is 5 minus, if I subtract this distance, I'll have my this distance, of course. So 5 minus 2 is 3. So my minimum distance from the coordinate axis came out to be 3. Let's see if I have this in my answer. Of course it is. And this is the first option we have. Okay, very nice. We are doing it greatly. Now we have a very last question of ours, which is very simple. Okay, finally we have got a very simple question. Under root 16x, okay, it's very fine, and we have to just simplify it. Okay, under root 16x plus 8x 4 power x plus 2x. For simplifying it, what I can do basically is, what power should I take on the 2 so that my answer come out to be 16? It would basically be 4. 2 into 2 is 4, 4 into 2 is 16, 4 into 2 is 8, 8 into 2 is 16, which means 2 power 4 is 16. And of course x along with it, because x you already had on the power of 16, right? And what should be the power of 2 in order to get 8 is 3. So 3x. Okay. Divided by what should be the power of 2 in order to get 4? 2 power 2, of course. 2 2s are 4, right? So 2x plus, and it is again simplified, 2 power x, all under root. Now see, what can I take common from the denominator is 2 power 3x. And when 2 power 3x is taken common, what is left from the first term is only 2 power x, because 2 power 3x is taken and 2 power x is only left. 2 power 3x from the second term is already taken, so now you have to just left with 1, right? Divided by what can be taken from the denominator as common is 2 power x. When 2 power x is taken common from the first term, you are left with 2 power x only in the first term, and in the second 2 power x entirely is taken common, so only 1 is left, all under root. So this whole is cancelled, 2 power x plus 1. Now you are only left with under root 2 power 3x upon 2 power 2 power x. So basically when bases are same and if they are dividing, right, you have to just subtract the powers. So all under root 2 power 3x minus x, you have to just subtract the powers because bases are same. So under root 2 3x minus x is 2x. Under root cancelled with this square, and you are only left with now 2 power x. So after simplifying this entire equation, we got our answer, which is 2 power x. So basically we are done with our all the questions of mathematics. So now we are solving physics MCQs from IMAT past paper 2023, and our very first question is, a point mass A with mass m moves at a constant speed given by v on a horizontal frictionless plane and collides with another body mass b with mass 2m that is at rest. The collision is elastic. After the collision, point mass A is moving with the speed of VA and point mass B with the speed of VB. What are VA? Which means they are asking about the velocity of the first object after collision and velocity of the second object after collision in terms of V. Okay, this question is very simple, not difficult. We are just going to solve it now. So basically, when two moving masses hits each other, basically here we don't have two moving masses, we have one moving mass and another stationary. Okay, one moving mass is going to hit another mass of a body that is on the stationary level, which means it is not moving, so it is stationary. Okay, and this is moving, of course. Now see, after collision, this body has a mass of m, right? And this body has a mass of 2m, which means this body, the body which is at the stationary level, which means that is not moving, has a greater mass than the first one body. Now for suppose, imagine this entire situation in a very real life. For instance, here I have one man, he is coming towards a car that is not moving, it's on the stationary level. Okay, it has mass of course, for suppose 10 kg, and this car has a mass of 40 kg, for suppose. I am making this entire same scenario but with a real life example. Now it is coming with a very good speed. Of course, after hitting, after colliding with the car, this car will start moving on the forward direction with some velocity, which they have said that VB is the velocity of the second object. Okay, this will start moving with some velocity in the forward direction, and of course this man will go backward again, okay, with some velocity, and that too with VA. Now I hope this entire scenario is clear to you, and they have asked us to find this VA and VB, which means velocity of the initial body after collision and velocity of the next body which was initially at stationary level but started moving after the collision. So they have asked about the velocity of the B. Now see, if you have to find the velocity of the final object, or if you have to find the final velocity of object A. Now this is our A object, okay, it will of course start moving in the backward direction, which means VA, and this stationary object will start moving in the forward direction with a smaller velocity, and that would be VB. Now for finding this VA, for finding this final velocity of the first object, we have a formula. We have a formula which is given by VA, or you can write V1 as well. It is not uh, not you know what the thing you are getting right now. If V1 VA, they both are same for now. Okay, VA is equal to M1 minus M2 upon M1 plus M2 into initial velocity of the system. Okay, initial velocity means before collision. This velocity is after collision of the first body. This velocity is the velocity of the first body before collision. Now I hope this is clear. Now just let's substitute the values. VA is equal to, now see what is the mass of the first body, which is M. So M minus M2 is 2M. So 2M. Again M1 plus M2. So M plus 2M. Now velocity of the initial body was V, okay, because a point mass M moves at a constant velocity V, so its initial velocity was V, so we have just written here V. Now see, it's very simple. Again, what we are going to do is VA is equal to, if you see in the numerator, M minus 2M would be minus M, right, upon M plus 2M would be 3M, and here comes RV. Now see what here would be, M cancelled with M, and our VA now became minus 1 upon 3V. Okay, so VA has now come minus 1 upon 3V. Now see, this minus sign indicates basically the direction. Okay, direction of the velocity is indicated by the signs, either positive if it had positive sign, which means it is moving in the forward direction, but if it has negative sign, it is moving on the left hand side, which means on the left hand side in the negative direction. So basically this minus sign basically shows this body is bounced back. This body is bounced back. And this I already told you the scenario, right? This velocity is in this direction because it has lower mass than this body. So of course after colliding with the second body that has higher mass, it will not have its velocity in the forward direction but in the backward direction. So this is showing the backward direction. They have only asked about the velocity, not direction, okay? Only the magnitude of velocity, which is 1 by 3. So magnitude of VA is now 1 upon 3V. Now we have to find velocity of the second object, which will again have velocity of a smaller magnitude but in the forward direction. Okay, this I already cleared you the concept. Now we have to find velocity of the second object. Now you have the formula for finding the velocity of the second object, which is VB equals 2m1 upon m1 plus m2, and of course again initial velocity of the system. These two formulas you must learn, okay? This formula, I'm sorry for this formula, and this formula you must memorize these two formulas, okay? These two formulas are basically used when one body with some velocity v collides with another body that is at a stationary level, which means not moving, okay? And that basically collision is elastic collision. Now see, let's just substitute the values. So VB is equal to 2. M1 is basically we have M, okay, and M1 is M plus M2 is 2M, and U1 is again V. We have already discussed about it now. So VB is equal to 2M divided by M plus 2M is 3M into V. M cancelled with this M. So our VB is plus 2 upon 3, which means again in the forward direction, and magnitude is 2 by 3V. Now VA is 1 by 3V and VB is 2 by 3V, which is again our option A. VA 1 by 3V, VB 2 by 3V. Yes, we have got our answer. Now let's go and solve our second question, which is again not difficult at all, guys. It's very easy. Now see what they are asking us in this question, and we'll of course know about that when we read the question. So our question is, an ideal gas is trapped in a metal cylinder by a free moving piston and is at equilibrium in a room at 25 degrees centigrade. The piston is pulled slowly to the right so that the volume of the trapped gas increases isothermally. Isothermally means the temperature is constant. The piston is now fixed in a position. Piston is fixed in a position, which means volume is not changing. Volume is constant now. See, piston is fixed, which means it cannot go up, it cannot come down as well, which means volume is fixed now. Volume will not increase, volume will not decrease, but it is fixed, which means it is constant. The metal cylinder is then placed in a location where thermal energy is transferred from the trapped gas until the pressure of the gas is halved to the nearest degree Celsius. What is the final temperature of the gas? Which means they are asking us about the final temperature, which means T2. Okay. Now let's break this entire question in a very simple way so that we can understand this question very finely. Basically they have mentioned so many things. They have given us the temperature of 25 degree and they have also mentioned this is ideal gas, and basically the ideal gas equation we have is PV is equal to nRT. Okay, so ideal gas equation is basically PV is equal to nRT. We know this, okay, where P is the pressure, V is the volume, T is temperature in Kelvin. This T is temperature in Kelvin, but they have given us temperature in centigrade. So of course we need to convert the Celsius temperature into Kelvin. So when converting this temperature, and this of course temperature is T1, because T2 they have asked, the final temperature they have asked, which is T2. So which means they have given us T1, right, which is 25 degrees centigrade. And when converting this into Kelvin, we need to add this to 273 degree. Okay, so when we'll add these two, I mean when you have to convert your Celsius degree centigrade degree into Kelvin, what you will do, you will just add your 273 degree into the centigrade degree, whatever is given to you. Okay, so 25 plus 273 comes out to be 298 Kelvin. So now we have our temperature in Kelvin basically. Okay, so now the piston is fixed. The piston is fixed, which means volume is constant. Volume is constant because the piston is fixed. Okay, the piston is fixed, so the volume is constant. So basically after driving you know what, from here what we are getting, volume is fixed, so which means I should not write here volume now, because volume is fixed now, volume is constant. So P is equal to nr. Nr, these both are constant terms, right? So these both are basically constant. And T is the temperature, right? T is the temperature. Here it comes. Now if I have to find the constant value, what it comes out to be, pressure divided by temperature. Okay, now you have two temperatures and two pressures, which means P1 by T1 equals P2 by T2. Okay, P1 by T1 equals P2 by T2. Now see what you have to do now. P1 upon T1 is already given in Kelvin, right? So 298 equals, pressure is halved. See, pressure is halved, which means 1 by 2. Halved means half, right? Half. Until the pressure 1 is halved, right? So half upon T2 we have to find. Now you have all the values, you just need to calculate your temperature, which means final temperature. Now I'm solving here so that we can solve our next question there. Okay, now see, from here P1 is cancelled with this P1. Okay, what we are left with is 1 upon 298, okay, equals 1 by, now see, this 2 can be written down as well. This is very simple maths now. 1 by 2 T2, you have to find your T2, right? So by cross multiplying it, what we got basically, 2 T2 is equal to 1 into 298. For finding T2, 2 is multiplying with T2, when it will go there it will be divided, right? So 298 divided by 2. 2 ones are 2, 2 ones are 2, and 8 comes, 4s are 8, 1 here, 9s are 18. So 149, right? T2 comes 149. And what it comes in, it basically comes in Kelvin, because we know that ideal gas equation has only temperature in Kelvin. That's why we converted at 25 degrees centigrade into Kelvin first, right? Now basically in the options, if you see the options, they have given us the temperatures in centigrade. So we need to convert this Kelvin temperature into centigrade first, right? So for, of course, converting this into centigrade, this Kelvin is given, right? Minus 273 and what it comes out to be minus 124 degrees centigrade. Okay, so this is now very simple, no rocket science at all, actually very simple, because we know that Kelvin is equal to whatever your degree is in centigrade plus 273. Okay, so here your Kelvin temperature is already given, which is 149. You are finding centigrade temperature plus 273. So of course you're finding the centigrade 273 is of plus here. When it will go on the left hand side, it will be minus. So 149 minus 273 is equal to centigrade. And when you subtract 273 from 149, it basically comes out to be minus 124. So it's basically in centigrade. So minus 124, minus 124. And it is basically our option 1, minus 124. Now I hope the second question is clear to you as well. Now let's go and solve our 58th question, which is again not difficult at all. I'll try my best to explain you guys in a very simple way this question as well, so please do not worry at all. Okay, so initially we are just going to read the question. A metal jug of negligible thermal capacity contains a mass m of water at temperature T1. A dry block of ice, specific latent heat of fusion LF of mass m at 0 degree centigrade, is dropped into the water, specific heat capacity C, and begins to melt. At thermal equilibrium, there is no ice in the jug and temperature of all the water is T2. There is no thermal energy transfer between the atmosphere and the water or between the atmosphere and the ice. Which expression is used to calculate? Okay, so basically they have mentioned here about thermal equilibrium. What does mean by the thermal equilibrium? Which means when the rate of exchange of heat becomes constant. Okay, when the heat exchange becomes constant, the rate of heat exchange becomes constant. So here basically what does thermal equilibrium mean in this question? Heat lost by hot water, I'm writing here now, heat lost by hot water would be same as heat gained by ice, right? Heat gained by ice basically. So this is what thermal equilibrium is. When some object is losing its heat, it basically the same amount of that loose heat is gained by another object. So heat lost by hot water is the same heat gained by ice, right? So this is what thermal equilibrium is basically. So basically first ice at 0 centigrade is dropped into the water, which means ice is changing its state into water. So for changing the state of something, for changing the state of a matter, the energy that is required to change the state of a matter from one form to another is basically latent heat. We have two types of heat capacity and latent heat. Okay, latent heat is basically heat required by a system to change its state. Okay, when that state is in ice, it basically converts into either water form, liquid form, or gas. So basically it is changing its state. So heat required by now ice to change its state to water is basically latent heat, and that is given by the formula Q is equal to mLF. This is the heat required by ice to change its state from ice to water, right? Now I hope this is clear, where m is the mass of the ice and LF is the latent heat of fusion. Okay, now basically after melting, water will gonna warm from 0 degree centigrade to T2, right? Water warms after melting. Water will warm as well from 0 degree centigrade to some temperature, right? T2. So that, of course, energy would be required in that as well. So energy required for that, now basically it is not changing the state, but it is now just warming the water. So for not changing the state but still requiring the heat to warm itself is the heat capacity, right? So that's basically special heat capacity, MCT2, right? MCT2. Now basically the entire heat which is required by ice, okay, total heat gained by ice or required by ice are both the same things, right? So total gain heat by ice, this one and this one, right? So we need to add these two now. Initial is MLF plus MCT2. Now see, heat lost by hot water is heat gained by ice. So heat gained by ice we have already found. This is what we have found. Okay. We need to now find heat lost by hot water. So what would be the heat which is lost by now hot water? Again, see, water is not changing its state, but it is just losing some heat, which means again here heat capacity would work, right? So its formula would be Q is equal to mc delta T. You have must heard about this formula, right? Where this m is the mass of water. So Q is equal to heat required by water to or heat lost by water is mc. Delta T means change in temperature, means T1 minus T2. So basically now these both heats are equal. Heat lost by hot water is now this mc T1 minus T2 is equal to heat gained by ice, which is this one. So heat gained by ice is MLF plus MC MCT2. They have asked us to find what? They have asked us to find M. They have asked us to find M, which is basically the mass of the ice. Now see what they have asked us to find. They have asked us to find M, okay? And this M is basically the mass of ice. So for driving the formula for calculating this small m, let's do it. MC T1 minus T2 is equal to, if I take m common from here, so basically what would be m common? In the initial factor LF is left, plus in the second factor CT2 is left. Okay, so now you just have to find this m. This whole factor is dividing with this, multiplying with this m. Whenever we go there, it will be divided, of course. So MC T1 minus T2 divided by LF plus CT2 is equal to m. So this is basically formula that we'll be using for calculating the mass of the ice. So MC T1 minus T2, MC T1 minus T2 upon LF CT2. Yes, A is the correct answer. I hope this question is clear to you as well. This is not difficult at all. Now let's go and solve our 59th question, which is the easiest question, I must say. This is the easiest question, I must say. Not difficult at all. See, a vehicle travels east for 6 km per hour. East is in this direction. It goes 6 km per hour, and then south for 8 km. south for 8 kilometers. So basically this is the south direction, right? Without stopping. If the trip takes 15 minutes, time is given basically of 15 minutes. They have asked us what is the magnitude of the average velocity in kilometer per hour. They are asking us to find velocity in kilometer per hour. So basically the formula for finding the velocity is what? It is displacement per unit time, right? It's not distance upon time. Distance upon time is the formula for finding the speed, but displacement upon time is the formula for finding the velocity. Now displacement is basically the straight direction, the shortest distance between 2 points. If I say what's my distance covered here, distance is the actual distance you have covered. So 6 plus 8 is 14 kilometer is basically the distance. But here they have asked us to find the displacement, and displacement is the shortest distance between the 2 points, and shortest distance between these 2 points is basically this, right? Now if you see, this becomes now right angle triangle. So for finding this hypotenuse, we have the formula c square is equal to a square plus b square. Okay, so c square is equal to a square, which means 8 square, plus b square, which means 6 square. Okay, we have to basically find this. So c square is equal to 8 square, 8 into 8 is 64, and 6 into 6 is 36. After adding these both, 6 plus 4, 10, 1 comes here, 6, 3, 9, 9 and 1, 10, 100. So basically we just have to find c, not c square. So squaring on both sides, not squaring on both sides but under root on both sides. So c is equal to under root of 100 is basically 10, because 10 into 10 is 100, right? So now our c is 10. So 10 kilometer, I'm sorry, wait for a moment, 10 kilometer is basically the displacement you have. Now just substituting its values. After substituting the values, displacement we basically got is 10. Okay, and time, now see, time is given in 15 minutes, and they have asked us to find kilometer per hour, which means we need to convert this 15 minutes into hour first. So 15 divided by 1 hour has 60 minutes, right? So 15 divided by the 60. So what it comes out to be, 15 ones are 15 and 15 twos are 13, 15 threes are 45, 15 fours are 60. So 1 by 4. Okay, 1 by 4. So here basically comes our 1 by 4. So after, you know what, doing it, I can write it like this as well, 10 divided by 1 by 4. And if you need to convert this division sign into multiplication, you have to take the reciprocal of it, and the reciprocal of 1 by 4 is only 4. So 10 into 4 is 40. So 40 is your velocity in kilometer per hour. In kilometer per hour, 40, 40, 40. Let's see if we have in our option 40. Yes, this is the first option we have. Now basically we are left with our very last question. It is again very simple and very last question for today of physics. Two perfectly insulating spheres charged respectively with Q1 and Q2. So two spheres basically are given. Okay, it has charge of Q1 and Q2 and with a respective radius of R1 and R2, are placed in a contact. See, they are now in contact, but they have already mentioned these are what? These are insulating bodies. These are insulating bodies. What will be the charge on the sphere of the radius 1? They have asked us about this charge of the radius 1. Okay, we need to calculate this now. What would be this equal to? Now basically, if these two objects were to be placed in the contact, and if they were not insulating bodies, they had to distribute their charges, right? For instance, it has charge of some 5 coulomb and it has some charge of 6 coulomb. So while when placed in a contact, they both come in contact with each other, so they will gonna distribute their charges to each other. But because now they are insulating bodies, they will not distribute their charges at all while placing in a contact, but their charges won't flow. Insulating bodies means charge wouldn't flow. Charge wouldn't flow. So charge wouldn't flow, which means they have asked us to find the charge of the radius 1, so it would remain same, which is q1. So we have got our answer as well, q1. I hope all the questions are now clear to you. These were not difficult questions. I tried my best to explain you with the very basic concepts. I mean, if you are at zero level of physics, you must still understand these all the concepts, because I tried my best to explain you with the zero level concepts. Okay, so this was all for today.